Saul spoke to Jonathan his son and to all his servants to put David to death. Jonathan, Saul's son, desired David very much. Jonathan told David, saying, Saul, my father, seeks to put you to death. And now beware, now in the morning you shall remain in secret and hide. And I shall come out and stand beside my father in the field where you are, and I shall speak on your behalf to my father, and if I see something I shall tell you. Jonathan spoke well of David to Saul his father, and he said to him, Let not the king sin against his servant David, because he has not sinned against you, because his deeds are very good toward you. And he put his life in his hand and slew the Philistine, and the Lord wrought a great salvation for all Israel. You saw and rejoiced. Why then should you sin against innocent blood, to put David to death for no reason? And Saul listened to Jonathan's voice, and Saul swore, As the Lord lives, he will not be put to death. Jonathan called David, and Jonathan told him all these things. Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was before him as yesterday and before. And there was war again, and David went out and battled the Philistines and dealt a great blow upon them, and they fled from before him. An evil spirit from the Lord was upon Saul, and he was sitting in his house with a spear in his hand, and David was playing with his harp with his hand. And Saul attempted to pin David to the wall with the spear, but he slipped away from before Saul, and Saul drove the spear into the wall. But David fled and escaped on that night. And Saul sent messengers to David's house to guard him, and to put him to death in the morning. And Michal his wife told David, saying, If you do not flee for your life tonight, tomorrow you will be put to death. And Michal let David down through the window, and he went and fled and escaped. And Michal took the teraphim and put them into the bed. She put a goat skin at its head and covered it with the garment. And Saul sent messengers to take David, and she said, He is ill. Saul sent the messengers to see David, saying, Bring him up to me in the bed, that I may put him to death. Messengers came, and behold, the teraphim was in the bed, and the goatskin was at its head. Saul said to Michal, Why have you thus deceived me? You sent away my enemy so that he escaped. Michal said to Saul, He said to me, Let me go. Why should I put you to death? Now David had fled and escaped, and he came to Samuel to Ramah and told him all that Saul had done to him. And he and Samuel went and stayed in Naioth. And it was related to Saul, saying, Behold, David is at Naioth in Ramah. Saul sent messengers to take David, and he saw the company of prophets prophesying, and Samuel was standing as head over them. And the Spirit from God was upon Saul's messengers, and they too prophesied. They told Saul, and he sent other messengers, and they too prophesied. And Saul continued to send third messengers, and they too prophesied. And he also went to Ramah, and he came to the great pit which is in Seku, and he asked and said, Where are Samuel and David? And one said, Behold, at Naioth and Ramah. And he went there to Naioth and Ramah, and even upon him was a spirit from God, and he went along prophesying until he came to Naioth and Ramah. And he too stripped off his clothes, and he too prophesied before Samuel. And he fell naked all that day and all the night. Therefore they say, Is Saul also among the prophets?